I mean, is she likely to turn up soon?
Well, I hope so. Well, she said she would be here.
Well, I've got a colonic in half an hour.
I know that. Just, you know, when I said we'd do it, do the interview, I said, you know, I had to say she was our favourite.
Lulu's our favourite.
I know, but I was in a position I couldn't say Lulu.
Here, finally. Sorry about...
Yes?
Yeah.
Hi. No, I'm actually
I'm
here.
waiting for someone.
Oh. Hang on. I think it could be. Could be.
No, because she's more beehive... Look.
Yes,
Elbows.
yes.
Elbows.
Is that... Hang on, keep it talking.
Hello. I say Martha's earring.
Not completely sure. No. Try the test.
I'll do the test. Hello. How do you do?
Again, hi.
By the way, you don't have to say you love me. Just be close at hand. You don't have to...
Stay forever.
Hello. Yes, you. You did it.
Finally she got it.
Please do
sit down.
Dawn French.
Ah.
Hello. She'll be asking the questions, and she'll be putting everything through me.
Why? I can answer for myself.
No, it's for safety. I don't want you answering any old question.
When that midnight choo-choo leaves for Alabama, I'll be right there. I've got my fare. When I see a hefty two-time porter man, I'll grab him by the collar and I'll holler, Alabama, Alabama. That's where you stop your train. That brings me back again, right back where I remain. I'll be feeling grand, and I will be right there with bells when that old conductor yells, all aboard, all aboard, all aboard for Alabama.
Right, I'm kicking off with the questions now. The first one is quite a personal one.
It wasn't like personal.
No, I always get those.
No, it's just, I'm open with it.
What is your favourite colour?
Hang on. What is your favourite colour?
Vodka.
Vodka.
It's a musician.
When I said I needed you, you said you would always stay. It wasn't me who changed, but you, and now you've gone away. Don't you see that now you've gone, and I'm left here on my own, that I have to follow you and beg you to come home. You don't have to say you love me, just speak romance. You don't have to stay forever, I will understand. Believe me, I can't help but love you, but believe me, I'll never tie you down.
Io che non vivo più da un'ora senza te. That's all. I'm too tired to sing. It sounds much better in Italian. I heard that song at San Remo Festival. And Italians are so wonderfully emotional about their appreciation of things. They, you know, in the middle of a lot of big Italian ballads, there's a massive Puccini-like massed strings passage. And they all stand up and applaud. And they did this in the middle of You Don't Have to Say Love Me Not, when Pino Donaggio, who wrote it along with Pallavicini, and then at that time those are the two writers. And I just fell on the floor in a heap, weeping copious amounts of tears, and said, I've got to do that song. And lived in fear for about a year, sort of kept it under the bed thinking someone's going to hear it, someone's going to do it. It wasn't the time for me to do one of those songs. I was still doing other things, I can't remember what. But it wasn't time for a ballad. And when it became time for a ballad, I dug it out from under the bed and asked Vicky, my manager, and she asked Simon Napier Bell, excuse me, And they wrote it in the back of a taxi, I think, literally in about 10 minutes.
When you were christened, did the vicar just say, "I thee christen you Dusty"? Is that what he called
No,
it?
no, honest to God, that came along later. My real name is Mary Isabel Catherine Bernadette O'Brien.
Liar!
Still was going to believe that.
Stupid.
That's stupid.
I love the piano. I love the piano.
My parents had a pretty eclectic taste in music, and that rubbed off on my brother and I, in that my father was a classical nut. I mean, he worshipped Beethoven, and Beethoven was it. I never got into Beethoven. But he played the piano very slowly because he was reading it like this. And he, I mean, we would have quizzes when I was about 9. He would play pieces of music and I'd have to guess the composer. He'd also tap out notations on the back of my hand. Da, 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 da. I had to know what that was. The piece of music by the timing of his fingers on the back of my hand.
Give me a P-I-A and ooh, I love the stuff right. Inside and not bright, or a high top baby grunt.
The only other things he listened to, apart from classical music, which I listened to on the radio all the time with him, was jazz, a certain amount of jazz, but different kinds. I mean, he liked Jelly Roll Morton. But he also liked Peggy Lee, who you wouldn't really think of as jazz. Then she was considered a pop singer. I know I could never sound like her, but I wanted to. You know, she swung like crazy, and to this day swings more naturally, and it all sounds so effortless.
Chicks were born to give you fever, be it Fahrenheit or centigrade, to give you fever.
But I also was very influenced by my brother, who was passionately in love with Carmen Miranda and kept drawing her shoes. He loved platform shoes. I don't know whether he wears them still, but he really did good drawings of him.
I expect you're very, very proud of your brother Bruce Springsteen, aren't you?
What?
Bruce Springsteen, your brother.
And my own brother, Thomas, hasn't been doing too badly at that particular line either. He's written a lot of songs, as you may know, for the Seekers, one for Anita Harris, even one for me at one time. Anyway, this song that I'd like to sing you now was in fact written when he was 9 years old, so it's world premiere, folks. I hope you like it. Here we go. I'd like to sing it for you now.
And it ain't so jam. Walking round the houses with a big plan. Oh, love me lonesome, not a bite to eat. Traipsing around on me poor old feet. My old man, if I could find him in hiding, I would give. Poor old me, I haven't got the key and I don't know where I live.
Had a little studio in amongst my father's. He was a ham radio guy. We never ate dinner at the table because the table was covered in his stuff. He set up this little mic, and we would broadcast to the next room with the neighbors in there. That's the closest my parents ever got to sort of being proud of us, overtly. I mean, I'm sure they were seriously proud of my brother and I, but they thought it was bad form to talk about it. So I always remember my mother was always like, "Sing up, Mary."
I know a fine way.
Yeah, well, I answered an ad in the Stage that said Sister Act, established Sister Act, looking to replace member or something like that. So I actually got the job. And they were very nice girls, and it was really invaluable training. We did a lot of American air bases, made a couple of records on Fontana. 7 little girls sitting in a back seat. We had the second version of that. Actually, the third version of that. There was an American one, and the Avons had the hit. We had the other one.
I believe from researchers that you actually went on tour with the Springboks.
I beg your pardon?
The Springboks!
Baila, baila, mulata, el nuevo ritmo.
well, there were influences, but we were pseudo everything, and we knew it. I mean, we just jumped up and down a lot, and were cheerful, which was... There was a niche somewhere for cheerful people. And we were terribly out of tune. We just sang very fast and very cheerfully. And they gave us a TV series, would you believe? You know, we didn't have a record or anything, but that was the BBC for you.
Hello, everybody. We'd just like to say how very happy we are to be with you on our own program. Well, the first song was a Zulu war tune with Tom on the bongo drum, Tim on guitar, and I'm Dusty.
I know something about love. Gotta want it bad.
The exciters sort of got you by the throat.
Go out and get him.
I first heard it briefly in New York. We had a stopover in New York my first time ever. And I was going past a record shop, the Colony record shop, which was open until at least 4, if not all night. And I just walked past. I mean, it was the thrill of being in New York, and it was nighttime, and the buildings were so huge. I mean, it was like, who needed drugs? You know, it was just incredible. And out of the blue, come blasting out was, I know something about love. Come on, I did. That's it. That's what I want to do.
I know something about love.
It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Wherever it is, Broadway or something or other. And I said, that's it. That's what I want to do. And we were going to Nashville to make a country album. So I, took the scenic route to it.
And then you went solo, did you?
Yes, I did that. Yeah.
Well done, Dusty.
Thanks.
We're all very, very proud of you.
Thanks.
You're an icon.
Oh, you make me cry. That's really
Very
nice.
nice. You're fabulous. We think you're fabulous.
I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never wanna let you go. 'Cause you started something, you see, that ever since we met you had a hold on me. It happens to be true. I only wanna be with you, yeah. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do. I wanna finish moment after day. What has happened with just one you? I never knew that I could be in love like this. It's crazy, but it's true. I only wanna be with you, yeah.
I only want to be with you. I remember that very well. But she had a wonderful, wonderful quality to her voice. There are certain voices that you kind of latch on to immediately. And you know that they're going to be around for a long period of time. And she happens to have one of those kinds of voices.
It happens to be true. I only wanna be with you, yeah.
I heard that and went, yes, we could do that, with Phil Spector. Sound was the drum sounding like the Household Cavalry's going past, as long as it was big, mushy sound. But, that was a gift. I didn't ask for that song. It just came into my life.
Come on. It's worth a try. Go on. Ask her.
I'm just thinking, look, it would... Come here. It would just help the viewer at home if you put them on.
No. Honestly, I can't.
Just do it.
First of all, I never wore them that long.
Just do it. Just put them on.
And it's the wrong colour and the wrong shape.
Please.
No.
She doesn't want
anymore.
Stop trying to make Dusty put these on.
I won't.
Stop it! I didn't. She doesn't want to do. You don't want to put
No.
them on. Stop it!
I'm not going to do it.
Lula would.
I don't care.
It's your head. This was taken off your head in 1964.
Nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide. I got nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide.
A lot of French Vogue models had black eyelids. Not naturally, as far as I know. Certainly help from little pots. And that was a look, but I never quite got it right.
Your face I see, every step I take, you stay with me, yeah. Nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide. Got nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide.
Are you jealous of Scylla on Blind Date?
Of her success?
No, not remotely. I can't do that kind of thing. She has that great quality. No, I can't do that kind of thing.
Can't do that kind of thing.
Is there possibly a game show for you in the pipeline?
That's a good
I
idea.
would hope not,
That's
no.
a good idea, though.
No.
What would we
Yes.
call it? Dream Dusty Date?
No, I know. It needs to be something really, really plain, like Dusty, with an exclamation mark. Do you see?
Dusty ... exclamation mark question mark.
Oh, absolutely.
Says it all.
I can see the posters.
You know, Dusty and I are such great friends. I'm only teasing. We just met before the show. I know, we have a little thing going, but we don't want to announce it immediately. Yes, it was wonderful. I'm still tasting it.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
Bye-bye.
I did 2 years or 3 years for the BBC and 1 for ITV, I think. And they were fairly hectic, because I can't see cue cards, and besides, I don't think anyone had cue cards then. I certainly didn't have auto prompters or anything. So, I mean, I had to learn it all. I spent half of the break, you know, the dinner break, when I was supposed to be putting the makeup on, running up and down to the sound booth, trying to get them to accept things like Jimi Hendrix's volume. They were just going ashen-faced when I went out there, you know. 'Cause everything had gone, the meters had totally gone. Going, that's the way it's supposed to sound. One of the nice things about doing those shows was I was just allowed to pick my own material, and as such, because I had a fairly eclectic taste in music, well, a very eclectic taste, thanks to my upbringing, I was able to sort of draw on that, and nobody thought it was odd. It was sort of just Dusty having a go. When the streets sing lullaby, there grows a young man there. The twilight gleam is in his eye. The light is on his hair. And like a lovesick lemon he had my heart enthralled. No life I own, nor liberty. His love is Lord of all.
I'm a happy knocker-upper and I'm popular beside, 'cause I wake 'em with a cuppa and tasty mother's pride. Then they're up in a flash and a rush, the bread, and a dash and a push, the bread, with a flash and a dash and a rush and a push. Like I said, it's the bread, it's the mother's pride bread, it makes them love work. They're going berserk to get off to work. It's in the way I wake 'em, by bringing to the side the bread we freshly bake 'em. Fantastic mother's pride.
I close my eyes and count to 10. The thing I like about it most is I've tortured producers throughout my whole recording career trying to get the piano sound off that record. So it's as much the piano in the chorus that I always return to that song when I'm trying to convey what I think is the best piano sound that I can imagine, you know, is that booming, heavily compressed piano. But it's only because her voice over the top of it sounds so great. And the I can't. It's no point to me to imitate her voice, you know. It just sounds funny. Just a certain thing in her voice, a little sort of sounds like a reed or something. It's beautiful.
It's the way you make me feel the moment wanted to get these sounds on very limited equipment. And one of the things that drove me crazy about recording in that particular place was it was so dead. I mean, you'd sort of sing and the sound would start, ha, like that. And I liked much more ambient sound and wilder sound. And so I used to record in the corridors mainly because there was some ambience to it. And the best was the Ladies' Loo. That was great. Much to the surprise of the cleaners one morning. About 6, I was doing Close My Eyes and Count to 10. I heard all this clanking down the end of the corridor, and they were just, they were standing there in their sort of print pinnies. What's she doing? It really was the best sound in there. It was a little echoey, and there was no control over it, but it gave it that sound. Because I had the most wonderful recording manager, Johnny France, who more or less used to let me do anything I wanted to. I know, I don't read, but I know when a chord's wrong, I know when a note's wrong, I know. But I wish I did read, because it's much quicker. I mean, that's where my recording manager would know. He'd go, it's a B flat you need. I'd have to sing it. That's the note that's wrong, in the sax section. He'd just go, it's the B flat on the alto, which saved an awful lot of time. So we were a great team. I've never thought of myself as being a singer with an orchestra. I am part of the orchestra, part of the ensemble. I'm another instrument, and I like to be, that's why I like surround sound. I like to be part of it. So that's why I like Summer of '11. And singing something off the wall like Poor Wayfaring Stranger, which I did on one of the early BBC shows. I am a poor wayfaring stranger, wandering on this world of woe, and there's no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright land to which I go. I'm going home to see my father. I'm going home, no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. Yeah, that's a beautiful song. I am a poor, I can't sing it. Wayfaring Strange, an old folk song that came from the Appalachians. It was probably originally Scottish. But I'm going home to see my father. It's so beautiful. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. It's really a beautiful song. Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Murray the K did a show at the Brooklyn Fox, and most of it was the Motown acts. But he brought in a couple of English ones, and I did 10 days or 2 weeks. 6 shows a day, luckily only 2 or 3 songs.
Well, we were on the same show, and I got really elated when I could play her the acetate to Dancing in the Street. I didn't like the song at first, and I had to arrange the melody somewhat, because it was Marvin Gaye's song to start with. He, Ivy Hunter, and William Stevenson wrote the song. He sang something like, calling out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat, baby? You know, he's got that style. So when I heard that, I said, oh, I could never sing it that way. And they said, well, give it a try. So they let me try my style of singing, and the second take was a keep. They kept the second taping of it. And I ran to Dusty with it, because we had been sharing things. She had told me how her record company was about to release some new things on her, and she was trying some different things. And we went crazy. We played it 3 or 4 times and danced all over the dressing room.
To me, Dancing in the Street was the epitome of the best record of its type I'd ever heard. I mean, they played that, they had an acetate of it, Martha and the Vandellas, in the dressing room at the Brooklyn Fox. Again, like at 9:30 in the morning. And it takes an awful lot to make me enthusiastic at that time in the morning. And they put it on, and I just fell over. It was the opening drum fill. Everything about it was right. It was like in your face. Fox, I mean, God, we started the first show at 10 in the morning, so instant laryngitis. I'm not good at that. It didn't seem to bother the other acts. It bothered me a lot. I probably had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning in order to be together for it, you know. But the best part of that is the Mandelas of Martha and the Mandelas did the backup for Marvin Gaye from the Wings. And on the first show, there was always one who'd overslept, so wasn't there. So I got to be the third Mandela, and that, to this day, is the biggest thrill of my life. Hit hack, baby. Ah, I just want to get on stage with him, but the moves were too swift for me.
Dusty was always in the Wings. I think she liked our music, and the reverse. I was always in the Wings because I liked her music. And we'd sing backup on the microphone for her on Wishing and Hoping. I guess that's what gave she and Vicki Wickham the idea to do a special and have us sing backup with her.
Just wishing and hoping and thinking and praying, planning and dreaming. His kisses will start that won't get you into his heart.
I remember when Motown came over and did a special on Ready, Steady, Go, it was all very mysterious, this Tamla Motown label, and Dusty was one of the few singers that could sing any of those songs credibly. But when you see the show of her doing a Heatwave or whatever song it was, she's also, you know, encumbered somewhat by the rocking BBC band, you know, and the vocal is about the only thing that's real about it, you know.
So when Dusty she invited us, well, they bring this new girls group over, the Supremes. But Barry had a plan to make them known in the UK. So he kind of shoved the groups around, and I rebelled because this was my friend giving this special, and I was supposed to be co-starring with Dusty, but it didn't happen that way. And I think on the finale I was kind of pushed off to the side, and I'm still a little angry about that. But when I look at it, I get my revenge because we were the ones to sing with Dusty on Wishing and Hoping. And I saw Ross in the Wings eating her heart out. She didn't know Dusty well enough to get that spot, so I won.
God, Motown. I mean, what can I say about it that someone else hasn't said? I suppose my enthusiasm for it, and it was total, helped push it. I certainly didn't mean to do that. When I'm enthusiastic about something, I just talk about it all the time.
I know she had a lot to do with our even getting our first recognition here because she touted us. Anytime she was interviewed, she'd mention Detroit, the Motown sound. I don't know who she liked the best, Martha and the Vandellas or the Temptations, although she was quite fond of Stevie Wonder. She loved Smokey as a writer, but when she invited us all, it helped open not only my career up here, but it got the Supremes introduced. It got the Temptations their #1 spot for a moment, and the tour went all over the UK after that show. A lot of things were booked after Ready, Steady, Go was taped. So, yes, she did. She introduced the Motown sound to England. I think she could take credit for that.
I was pretty well accepted, I must say, by some and not by others. Not particularly by people whose songs I'd covered. Dion's angry with me to this day for covering a couple of her songs. But that's what English acts did, including the Beatles. We all swiped things. And then the embarrassment is when you come face to face with the people who did the original, and usually did it much better. Well, if I'd have done the original or something, I would have been very angry too. Most were very charming about it. A couple of them really had it in from me.
I had a little bit of a twinge going when Cilla Black decided to record anyone who had a heart, because my recording was just getting ready to be released in Europe. And she kind of covered it before mine had an opportunity to do whatever it was going to do. With Dusty, it was another story altogether. She cut a song that never would have been a single for me, Wishing and Hoping. And The Look of Love was written specifically for her. So, as was, I Just Don't Know What to Do with Myself.
People gave me good songs, and to be given songs by Burt Bacharach was just such a joy. I mean, I flew over to New York to have dinner with him from the Liverpool Empire, where I was playing, and had dinner with him on the Sunday, and flew back and did the 2 shows in Liverpool that night, the Monday night, which was quite heavy going in those days. Now it's nothing. I just don't know what to do with myself out of that.
She did. I Just Don't Know What to Do with Myself. I just thought it was a great, great record, you know, and I'd always wished that we'd had a chance to do something. We'd probably killed each other in the studio. Probably just destroyed one another with, simply because I'm a perfectionist too, and she's a perfectionist, but much harder on herself than I think I am on myself.
Just don't know what to do with myself. I'm so used to doing everything with you, planning everything for 2. Now that we're through, I just don't know what to do with my time. I'm so lonesome for you to cry.
Those female singers that were on their own were not singing anything near as intricate as what Bacharach writes. So you had to have an enormous amount of musicality about you to sing his melodies and to sing his songs. And Hal David lyrics, I mean, you could speak them and still get the same impact, I feel.
Doing the picture Casino Royale, where I got a chance to record her for the soundtrack, and Dusty, that was a trip, because Dusty is a perfectionist and very hard on herself vocally. And on a playback, I remember that she wanted to go into another studio by herself in a control room and just hear herself. She didn't want anybody around. She didn't want me around. So I stayed in the control room and listened to the playback. I thought it was great. Look of Love, just exactly what we wanted for the picture.
Carole King in the Brill Building in New York when she was probably about 18. And I always remember we both blushed furiously because I think we very much wanted to meet each other you know, out of respect. And we met in the corridor and we weren't expecting it, so we were off guard. And I just remember she was this little thing with lots of hair. And I thought, my God, all that music comes out of you. and she and her husband at that time, Jerry Coffin, they just wrote priceless songs. And the fact is that she made such good demos, I used to collect them, because you couldn't better the demo. You absolutely could not better the demo. So I'd go for as close a sound as I could get. They have a cadence to them that seems to fall right for my voice. Some of you are loving most of all. It's the only record, Summer 11, I ever took home and played 14 times over. Normally I don't play them for at least a year, because I'm incapable of being objective. But that one got me to Atlantic Records, and it was Atlantic's idea to try the Memphis thing.
I think, in my opinion, Dusty in Memphis is one of the two greatest records made on Atlantic, and the other great one is the first Aretha record, so that's pretty high praise, you know.
It stands out in my mind as one of my favorites of all times, and I remember Jan Wenner of Rolling Stone called me one day and said, I got to have one, said, for a friend of mine. He says, they're $100 a copy. Do you know where I can find one?
Billy Ray was a preacher's son, and when his daddy would visit, he'd come along. When they gathered around and started talking, Gus and Billy would take me walking. Out through the backyard we go walking. Then he look into my eyes. Lord knows to my surprise, the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only one who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. You are. Oh, yes, you are.
Son of a Preacher Man had been offered to Aretha Franklin, and Aretha rejected it because of the subject and the text. So we tried it on Dusty, the Ice Lady, the White Queen of Soul. And of course it came out just great, and the track is wonderful, and she did an incredible job with it, and it was a big hit for her. A year after we put it away, after Dusty finished with it, Aretha decided she'd like to do it.
Yeah, well, I like Aretha's version a lot better. She did it the way that I wish I'd done it. That often happens when you hear somebody do it afterwards. She'll phrase it, the only one who could ever reach me. Where I went, the only one who could ever reach me. I thought, damn, when I didn't do that. Now, if I do it on stage, I call paraphrasing, because that's the way I should have done it.
Dusty always had this capability of, you know, a wide range of emotions and a wide range of the notes that she could sing.
A chair is still a chair, even though there's no one sitting there. But a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home when there's no one there to hold you tight, and no one there you can kiss good night. keep us apart. I'm not meant to live alone. Turn this house into a home when I cry instead. Turn the key, oh please be there, still in love with me.
It was actually quite difficult to do that because just singing with him at the piano at the beginning of it, before the Phantom Orchestra appeared, a la Hollywood, thank God, that took some courage. But, you know, you can rise to the occasion. When you think you can't do something, and then you just got to do it, because it's just you and Bacharach, so you better hit the notes. And it indeed worked very well. I'm very proud of that. Hate the hair, love the song.
It must be great at Christmas though. You get around the piano with Lulu and Helen Shapiro and people.
Dinah Washington,
I don't do that.
Sure.
And just sing along in the soulful melody.
Round every corner, round every corner, round every corner, round every corner.
Leave all the blue days and think about the new days. Round every corner, round every corner. Everything is yours now. Open up the doors now. Round every corner, round every corner. I'm gonna make you love me. Ooh, yes I will. Oh baby, yes I will. I'm gonna make you love me, baby, yes I will. Hey baby, yes I will. Opposition will catch between me and my man.
Right, so let me just get this right. You left England, our green and pleasant and satanic land, in the year of...
Ooh, 73? 73.
73. And you came back in...
89?
Is it 89?
89-ish.
89 or not 89?
89-ish, honestly.
Okay.
Well, what? I mean, you have to be
I don't
specific
know.
about
I
it.
went to Holland.
She went to Holland.
Maybe it was 89. No one's interested in the Holland years, all right? What we're trying to get out of you
No one is.
when you left this country and when you came back. Are you prepared to answer that question or not?
Not really, no. I mean, I think it's all bloody
Well,
boring.
no, hang on. If she left in
left in
73,
73.
came back in 18, that's
40. Carry 2 down. Divide by 3.
I've got 49.
No,
that
no,
can't
that
be
means she
right.
was abroad
That's
in
not
America.
right. Because, no, that's division.
No, that makes... God, she was away for 82 years.
Los Angeles was just a place I wanted to be. Remember, I mean, I was a small child that grew up on 20th Century Fox musicals. And I always had this love affair with the dream of America. I still do, really. It's never what you think it's going to be. And it was very, very good to me and very, very bad to me. And it needed to be both for me to be here now.
Should we do it now?
Yes.
It's just something... It's just... We're very big fans, and we need to get something signed.
Well, that's nice,
Is that all
at
right?
least, isn't it? No,
Well,
no.
just take this bit of paper. Could you ask the Pet Shop Boys to sign it for us?
Of course.
Because you know them.
Dusty, to me, has, you know, one of the most beautiful voices anyone's ever had in pop music or soul music. She has a very vulnerable quality in her voice. And also the fantastic way she phrases things. And she always turns a song into a Dusty Springfield record.
There are things that just drop into one's life. You know, I mean, I was really sort of debating whether to start singing again, or even how to. And I was just sitting in the garden under a tree and got a phone call. It was from Vicky, and she said, there's this really off-the-wall idea. I'm sending you a tape, it's on its way. I need a fast answer. 24 hours or whatever. And I'd heard the Pet Shop Boys because I nearly had an accident on the freeway when I heard West End Girls on the car radio. There was another... Songs have that effect on me. I have to sit down and drive off freeways. And I've been not in a million years thinking I'd work with them. And the tape arrived very fast, and I called Vicky back in about 5 minutes and said, oh, this is really a great idea.
And she came in, you know, and there she was, Dusty Springfield, blonde hair, the eyes. And she said, what do you want me to sound like? And, you know, and we said, oh, we want you to sound like Dusty Springfield. She actually looked quite surprised at that. I don't know what she thought we wanted her to sound like.
I had no idea what they wanted me to do, though. I just knew I wanted to be a part of it, whatever it was.
She sang the two middle sections of the song. That song has a very unusual structure. The first one she sang straight, you know, since you went away, I've been... And then the second one, she bent the melody. She kind of dustified the melody. And it really pulls it into a climax. And I remember being thrilled to death that we had this on one of our records. Absolutely thrilled to death.
Although I was dropped in the deep end suddenly on the visibility thing, I was only asked to sing, since you went away. I mean, it's no big deal.
Since you went away, I've been hanging around. I've been wondering why. I've been down, went away. It should make me feel better, but I don't know how I'm gonna get through. How I'm gonna get through.
The Pet Shop Boys offered me a vehicle to, I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect with me debating whether I could do it all again, to not being expected to do it all again, to go through being a little bit a part of their record and having it be a huge hit in the States and hear it everywhere. It was kind of a rehearsal for the next bit, which was the song from Scandal.
She records very, very slowly. I think she's always done this as well. She likes to record something a word at a time, even sometimes a syllable at a time. And I remember sitting with Julia Mendelsohn, who we were doing the record with. The first line was, Mandy's in the papers, because she's tried to go to Spain. And the track starts with a great introduction, and she goes, Matt, stops. And I just looked at the lyric sheet. There's so many words in this song, and I thought, oh God. And I wanted her to double track quite a lot of it too. But it was fascinating for me watching her do that, because she vocally arranged it. She arranged and phrased every verse that was slightly different, every chorus that was slightly different, put one of her climaxes into it. Right at the end, it may be false, it may be true, you know, and that was, I'd never really thought about singing. I mean, I was only ever the singer of the Pet Shop Boys because Chris wouldn't sing. And I learned an awful lot about singing just from listening and watching her recording.
She tried to go to Spain. She sold me in the dark, and in the papers once again. Vicky's got a story of the mirror and the king. It may be false, it may be true, but nothing has been proved. In the house of resignation, guilty faces everyone. Christine's falling out with Lucky. Johnny's got a gun. Please, please, number one.
And then I played it in private, which is a much more of a tune and when we wrote that for Dusty, Chris played me that. Dee 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 dee. I said, this is a Dusty song. We've got to write this for Dusty. And then I thought of in private, and we wrote it. And when I played her that, she said, oh yeah, she said, yeah, I'd like to do that one. And she had this look in her face like she was sort of ready.
We don't have hair and makeup until a certain hour.
Yeah, yeah.
That was fun doing the video. Dusty's a character, you know. And we were fascinated. We thought she was a real star because she had teams of hairdressers and makeup artists and all the rest of it.
Here we go then. And playback. Turn over.
Yeah, because it helps. I've got this terrible glazed look in my eye.
No, unless you can see it. That's what I said.
Yeah, unless you can see it. I can't come alive.
No, let me show you what they're doing.
I'm a method singer.
Dusty takes your song and makes it sound 10 times better.
And she's into her music. It's 100% of her life. Anything else is secondary.
Tremendous voice, tremendous singer, very emotional about what she does, and I think that's probably not only her first love, but her only love.
The voice is one of the greatest voices in pop music, without doubt. And I don't think she's ever got really credit for that because people concentrate on the icon aspect of it, you know, the hair and the eyelashes and the hand movements.
Nashville. When I was there with the Springfields, they asked me to stay. And I didn't want to do that kind of music. I probably owned a whole town by now or something. Dusty Land. I'd been thinking for about 3 years that I wanted to come back here, having been here with the Springfields many, many years ago. And I didn't quite know how I was going to achieve it. I just knew that it would probably be a good thing to do. And it just kind of dropped into my lap. It's a pop album that's being made in Nashville because a lot of good players and songwriters and everything have just sort of gravitated to Nashville. I mean, Nashville has changed. It isn't what it was. I mean, it was very limited before. Now that all kinds of music comes out of Nashville, which actually suits me very well.
Every day when I look in the mirror, I try to see where my soul's at now. Roll away all the time and the river. Roll away to the endless sea. Roll away. It could all change tomorrow. This is life in its glory, and the river runs free. Roll away.
My name is Dusty Springfield, and I refuse to be filmed.
When that midnight you
I won't talk about the Holland years, no.
I'll be right there.
Stop, please, Dusty. Can I just say thank you
It's
so
not
much?
it's me, it's me. It's not actually.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I told her if she wore this and this, people would know who she was.
The likeness is incredible.
I know. The lips.
Would you do me a little favour? Could you do a little medley of her favourite numbers?
Where's she gone home?
Well, it's just I think that she hasn't sung enough of the ones we want.
All right.
Could you do a medley? If
Yes,
I feed you the
yes,
actual
yes.
Start with Monsieur Dupont, the famous one.
Y'all come back and see us real soon, here.